Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's some other messages I have received from the Venusians in the solar hierarchy of light, but I was told by the Creator, and I'm acting freely of my own will as a representative of the Galactic Confederation of Light and my friends, the Venusians, members of the Angel Force, those who live a long time, who are perfectly integrated in their masculine and feminine, absolutely beautiful human beings. None of them looking over 30 for the most part, with very advanced technology. We'll be going over their technologies. We'll be going over their healing and their other information in various of these messages. I have many transcripts. I've asked many questions over the last, let's call it 6 years with them, and I don't abuse my position of asking frivolous questions, though I have asked them. They like to keep their messages straight and to the point. And for those who want me to ask questions, I'm not allowed to ask any personal questions for anyone. All I can do is um, ask my own questions. I have offered for other people to ask some questions of scientific nature. They will not answer questions of political nature. They prefer to keep the focus on the human consciousness and the development. And this meeting was arranged by Dr. Raymond Keller. I drove out to the East Coast, and I was really procrastinating writing these messages. I was freaked out. I was going to meet the moon base commander and the security chief, Ahl-Ahn. And I've since learned that he was one of the magi and 2,400 years ago under Darius the Great. He was a Persian Zoroastrian beekeeper, and he translated to Venus. If you watched part one of my introduction about the translated beings and how the Venusians become so long lived by their technology of fusing the radiations, and there's a whole video that talks about that in the future. So I hope you will enjoy this series of the messages. I'm disabling comments on this video. I want you to listen to these messages. If you have any doubts, I suggest you listen to these messages exactly true, exactly real, exactly as they are stated. So, this message, you will not see the video, but the video camera was held by Ahl-Ahn, very special energy. He's 2,400 years old. He walked with Christ, and he was one of the magi at their birth. You'll hear that in the later message. Very powerful energy. The woman is the moon base commander. Is absolutely stunningly beautiful, incredible blue eyes. And you can see her at my conference, or you can see her by purchasing my book, simply because this is open to the entire world. And everyone knows what a S show it is out there with the attackers. And most people aren't going to pay $59 to join my inner circle if they just want to trash it. If you don't believe it, don't believe it. If you don't believe it, don't buy it. I ask that those of you who do, that you not reproduce this out of respect. And these are available only on my website, and you will need to have a passcode to get in. So that's how I kind of keep these messages, but only to the people who pay for them. And I'm not about money. Believe me, no one's getting rich on this information. We all face heartache and ridicule. But I think you're going to find these messages for those, especially the Christians. And we're not favoring any religion over any other. All the messengers, all the prophets, Krishna, Buddha, even the prophet Muhammad had positive messages. Every single one of these has been hijacked and railroaded by arrogant religious potentates and hucksters, shall we say, to control the narrative and to create hate and division. But Christ's message rewrote all of the messages before him, to love God and to follow his example in healing and service to your fellow man. Remember Hebrews 13:2, beware lest ye entertain angels unaware. And I have done so myself on several occasions. So I'm going to play this message now. This is a voice recorded message. It's a video recorded. And she is wearing a red beret, as they are wont to do. And if you think of a raspberry beret, you might think of a musical artist who was contacted. His name was Prince. He had a contact with a Venusian, actually became lovers. And he changed his name to the symbol of Venus. And he had the guitar made. And I'm sure Prince is playing on the night shift in the Venusian hierarchy of light. So I haven't asked him who the Venusian was that met him, but I can guarantee you Prince met a Venusian. So I'm going to be playing the message of Commander Rhanes here. And I'm going to ask you to realize that Dr. Keller is sitting on my left and the beautiful moon-based commander. And I will share her picture in her previous iteration in the 1950s. And I will share in my next messages from her that she was working with the Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and John Adams and many others in the American and the French revolutions, and I'll name some of the names. And she's spoken with me and she's answered some questions. There's so much wonderful information coming from our friends and the Angel Force in their attempt to enlighten humanity and to prepare us for what's really taking place. So without further ado, here's the first message, official message that I had some personal messages, and I'll probably share some of those prior to this, but I'll talk about how those came later. But here is the first message from Lady Orda, the moon-based commander. So listen carefully and enjoy. I will be sharing the screen of some images of her when she was in the 1950s, as well as other Venusian images. So please listen carefully and enjoy. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And this is a very, very special interview on the Victor Blight radio show and the blog. I'd like to welcome the promised friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to introduce you to Commander Lady Ahl-Ahn Rhanes.
Yeah.
She's in service to the Earth as a leader of the moon base and the commander on the backside of the moon on the colony they call Clarion. She is coming here as an authorized representative of the Venusian and the solar hierarchy of light. She's uniquely qualified to answer my questions. I must tell you, Commander, it's a great honor to meet you, and I wish to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for coming here and offering this information to the people of Earth that is very much needed at this time.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet you.
Commander Rhanes, can you tell us at this time of the overall intentions of the mission of the Venusians and the Galactic Federation and Star Family on Earth, and why you're here in ever-increasing frequency? Perhaps you might tell us of our past history of relationship to Venus and the Galactic family.
Certainly I will. I have prepared my notes as well. And I just wanted to mention that human technological advances in areas of weaponry, delivery systems, and artificial intelligence have necessitated an increase in the Venusian presence on Earth. These advances by nations on Earth have outpaced any spiritual attunement that is necessary to properly channel these technological advances into more positive areas of investigation and application that will benefit all of humankind, and not just the selfish interests of national leaders. We, that is to say, the Venusians, have been interacting with your world on many levels since before the dawn of recorded human history.
Mm-hmm.
Our emissary, Omnic, and our historian, Dr. Raymond Keller, have provided further light and knowledge in their respective books on this subject.
There are many common questions that people ask me in regards to your ever-increasing presence in our skies. The first is, why are our governments so desperately trying to hide the reality of your existence? The second is, why is your policy so secretive for contact? They always ask me, why don't you just simply land and show the world and let them know that you're here and open communicate with us.
Sure,
This is
Brother
Omnek
Rob.
Omnek.
Many of the leaders in the government and religion in your world know all about us, so we really aren't a secret. They know that when more and more individuals among the mass population start to emancipate themselves through obtaining a knowledge of our free energy systems, longevity, and the spiritual understanding, that it will be time for them, the greedy financiers, the militarists, the religious potentates, to just step down and be away. When everyone is empowered to be a leader of their own, they will no longer be required to take orders from the selfish militarists, religious hucksters, and other opportunists. Our presence is largely secretive because the human being must demonstrate their own capacity to expand into this consciousness. They have to evolve on their own, adapt, and that would make for a worthy entry into the Galactic Confederation. If we acted as some of us have wished us to, it would be like giving a driver's license to a 5-year-old.
I understand. Commander Rhanes, can you please offer some hope for the future of the Earth? Please give us any guidance or counsel for us peacemakers to create real change that will help us to have peace on Earth. In other words, how can we, the common people, help create a situation of calm and harmony between our leaders and neighboring countries?
And that is a good question. Brother Rob, it all begins and ultimately triumphs with the individual. Everything is in the hands of the individual. Small acts of compassion, whether it's an attitude of service or a demonstrated kindness to all, this will ultimately make obsolete the ridiculous demands of the bellicose militarists around you. Such angelic manifestations are there to push out the darkness, and that will forever be eroding their influence and power. It's much like the ocean tides of your Earth does as it forever crashes against sea walls.
Okay, Lady Aura, can you speak her words of wisdom to help us understand what has gone wrong in our places of worship? Can you give us the good news of understanding from a spiritual perspective on what are the root causes of our limited understanding and the errors not only of human thinking, but of our priests and teachers in these secular religions? How should we approach religion and show tolerance for others' faith?
Well, Brother Rob, I will go to an example. In ancient Egypt, certain individuals paid sufficient attention to the skies in order to astronomically determine the times for planting, for harvesting, and that was based on an alignment of the stellar constellations that coincided with the flooding of the Nile and the deposits of silts suitable for agriculture along its banks or in the Delta region. They parlayed this knowledge into taking power as priests and kings to rule over the people. The people asked, how can these people tell when the sun shall be blacked out, or the moon shadowed, or a streak of light to appear in the vault of the heavens? They must be gods, or appointed by the sky gods to rule over us. This type of Wizard of Oz scenario has never stopped being played out here in your world. Eventually, people will catch on to the game. Of course, God is a spirit, and the indwelling spirit of God is within each of us, a small spark that can become fanned into a brilliant flame. Listen carefully to the small, quiet voice that speaks to your heart, because that voice is the one that emanates from the true spiritual guides and masters that walk and live among you.
Thank you very much. In the spirit of openness, in our quest to realize the unique and true purpose of Christ's life and mission, can you please tell us what the ascended masters, the Venusian hierarchy, would like us to understand about the life and the teachings of the Master Jesus Christ?
Certainly, certainly. Jesus is the theophanic angel described throughout the pages of all Judaic and Christian scriptures. For example, Abraham the prophet and various kings paid tithes to him as Melchizedek, when he ruled over Salem. And he stood with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when King Nebuchadnezzar threw him into his fiery furnace. While born human, he was fully endowed by the Holy Spirit, an avatar to humankind of the God presence that permeates this universe. In the celestial realms, he's known as Michael, the supreme angel, he being the one like unto God. Jesus came to bring a special light into the world, but very few recognize that light, let alone its importance. By dying on the cross, he sealed his testimony with his own blood, proving his enduring love for this humanity. By his resurrection and eventual ascension, he manifested his divinity.
Thank you very much. Can you please clarify as much as possible the nature of evil? Seems there's endless suffering and harm that people choose to do to each other. I want to know how is it perceived by the Venusians as this error, this sin exists on Earth?
Oh, certainly. Evil exists because some people are duped into following false philosophies. Others have their hearts set on evil intentions. I mean, that's the whole of them, that's their core. Some manifest an evil spirit by speaking lies of others. Many work in occupations that are hurtful to the innocent. Many evil ones expend their time and effort on nefarious schemes, scheming for the purpose of purporting that evil. Some seek knowledge to lord over others and strip them of their sovereign rights, while other evils are trying to divert the people's attention from truth and light. There's an ongoing battle for the hearts of the human beings on higher spiritual planes. On the earth and beyond, there are extraterrestrials that can operate in various dimensions. Some of them on earth have been recognized as either angels or demons. And we just have to find a way to prevent them.
Okay. I realize money, which is a big obstacle in the way that we think and deal with each other. And it does not really exist on Venus, as your society works as one mind in accordance with natural universal laws. What can you tell us about how we of Earth will eventually and possibly move forward to create abundance and prosperity like that is enjoyed by the Venusian society here on Earth?
Again, it seems to be that a false belief is coming into play. The economic problems on Earth are largely due to false belief that's imposed by the leaders on this planet. And it's in many fields that there is only so much that can go around. This means that your people must fight over the crumbs of pie, let alone getting a full slice of pie, which of course can only be enjoyed by your oligarchs. On Venus, we long ago determined that the solution to this problem is to bake more pies so that everyone can be satisfied. Credits are based on what we can do to help our sisters and brothers meet their needs. On Venus, we even have a Department of Happiness to oversee this process.
Okay.
Continue in the light of Venus. This is Commander Rhanes. Blessings to all in the ultimate victory.
Thank you very, very much, Commander Rhanes. It's been an honor to have you here today, and I thank you so very much for coming such a long way.
Thank you.
To share with our.
I do enjoy travel.
Okay.
Commander had a message for the overall message.
I do.
Well, we have a special message that the commander is going to deliver, and I will be presenting this in full at the Conscious Life Expo.
Okay. Did you want to?
Certainly. Queen Orda and all the celestial hierarchy of light send greetings to all friends of Venus. I am Rhanes, the Venusian commander of Moonbase Clarion, situated on the dark side of your planet's natural satellite. I visited your world countless times over the past few centuries, since the time I first dispatched here to aid the American, Caribbean, and French revolutionists in their mighty task of securing liberty, equality, and fraternity for all of their respective peoples. That was in the latter half of the 18th century. By the time you receive this message, it will be February 7th through the 9th of 2020, with the Conscious Life Expo being held in your most beautiful city of Los Angeles, California. At this assembly, Brother Robert Potter and Dr. Raymond Keller will be presenting vital information about your sister world, Venus. Brother Robert strives for the victory of the life, and Dr. Keller chronicles the history of Venus, or Abishar, the planet of the bees, as it is known by its inhabitants. Of Robert and Raymond, all we can say is this: hear them. Once again, in the orbital path of Earth, we approach Valentine's Day. One cannot emphasize enough the importance of Venus to the inhabitants of the Earth, the solar system, and even beyond to countless other celestial civilizations. An accurate knowledge of Venus and our ways of life are essential for kickstarting both your personal and planetary spiritual ascension. There are many gaps in your terran systems of education that need to be filled. This covers all segments of your investigations. Or to better state this, all areas of ongoing research. Your religious concepts are, for the most part, basic and good. However, they are sorely lacking in sufficient depth. On Venus, we have successfully integrated these into a coherent whole. And what is the tie that binds these all together? It is love. And that is what the planet Venus and Valentine's Day are all about, love. A love for teaching a subject, and a love for the students will carry over to the young ones. It will inspire them. They will begin to draw upon the majestic powers within them. It will be like magic watching them grow and move mountains in powerful new directions. Breaking down the obstacles that constrain the human being, this amazing power comes from the well of love deep within the heart of each individual. Paul, called by a vision of the Christ in a flash of blinding light to become a messenger of truth, once taught those of earth an important doctrine esteemed by all of Venus in the lighter densities. 1 Corinthians 13, the supremacy of love. Chapter 13. If I speak in the languages of humans and angels but have no love, I've become a reverberating gong or a clashing cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can understand all secrets and every form of knowledge, and if I have absolute faith so as to move mountains but have no love, I am nothing. Even if I give away everything that I have and sacrifice myself but have no love, I gain nothing. Love is always patient. Love is always kind. Love is never envious or arrogant with pride. Nor is she conceited, and she is never rude. She never thinks just of herself or ever gets annoyed. She is never resentful, is never glad with sin. She's always glad to side with truth and pleased that truth will win. She bears up under everything, believes the best in all. There is no limit to her hope, and never will she fail. Love never fails. Now, if there are prophecies, they will be done away with. If there are languages, they will cease. If there is knowledge, it will be done away with. For what we know is incomplete, and what we prophecy is incomplete. But when what is complete comes, then what is incomplete will be done away with. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, thought like a child, and reasoned like a child. When I became a woman, I gave up my childish ways. Now, we see only an indistinct image in a mirror, but then we will be face to face. Now, what I know is incomplete, but then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. Right now, 3 things remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Now, before we move on, many thanks to our Chief of Security, Ahl-Ahn, who is recording this, in addition to Robert Potter of The Promise Revealed, and Dr. Keller, the author of the Venus Rising trilogy, who has collected a series of questions from friends of Venus scattered around the world to present to me at this time. I've selected 8 of those, which we had just performed with Brother Rocker. Many thanks, dear friends of Venus. Unfortunately, it is time for Ahl-Ahn and I to go. Despite the tragic events that plague these latter days, have no fear. Please know the angels are always standing by to attend to you. Fellow Commander Valiant Thor of the Victor Fleet, currently on a mission in the Sirius star sector, sends his love and best wishes to all of his friends of the Rose in China, particularly the young lady who sent him the angel photos. Once again, this is Aura Rhanes, Clarion Commander, on this 20th day of October 2019, the 67th anniversary of George Adamski's initial and physical Venusian contact experience in the Mojave Desert of California.
Thank you so very much. I'm so very honored and grateful for you to deliver this message and to allow me to present this message of hope and peace and love and affirmation that the angels do attend us and that times are changing and that we will be moving forward into a glorious new age as we develop ourselves and bring forth the mighty I am presence in the Christ light.
Okay, folks, that was it. You know, kind of embarrassed if you actually, if you do see that, I was pretty starstruck, if you can imagine, kind of like, a beginning guitarist interviewing Paul McCartney, something like that. So, and there's a lot going through my head at the time. My God, this is a real interview. And of course, it's been 6 years now. Very few people have really seen that or understood it. I've been ridiculed, and it's okay. It's the truth. And at some point, we'll hear, some people say, oh, the Pleiadians or someone else is going to be the first people to contact. I can promise you the Venusians will be amongst the first to contact the Earth. There may be some Pleiadians. There may be other races that look like us when they make the first official contact. When that day comes, I don't know. But we have to end all wars. We have to have a truly democratic society. And we have to be able to share and create a new financial system and a classless society. And many people are going to have problems. And that's part of my other mission. I hope you'd enjoyed this. I hope you tune into my website. And I hope you look forward to these new messages. But I'm putting this out here, folks, and it's the real thing. And it's not about me. I'm just a human postman delivering a message. Raymond Keller is the senior postmaster general. And we're very fortunate to have these questions and answers. And I hope this will give you insight, a little insight into the higher dimensionals and their viewpoints. Of course, the wonderful life they live is something that we can look forward to and hope to attain in the future. God bless you all, and victory to the light.